inaugural physician in his family. Renowned as an emergency medicine physician, an acclaimed author of 19 books, and a pioneer in healthcare innovation with a focus on AI and medical technology, Dr. Castro's journey is a testament to ambition, groundbreaking achievements, and a profound commitment to advancing the medical field. Dr. Castro's roots in Queens, New York, laid the foundation for a life characterized by resilience, innovation, and entrepreneurial spirit. Starting from humble beginnings, delivering newspapers, and establishing a vitamin business at 16, his early endeavors highlighted a path of innovation and hard work. Dr. Castro's educational pursuits are as impressive as his professional journey. Alongside degrees in biomedical science and political science from Texas A&M and a doctorate in medicine from UTMB Galveston, he also earned an MBA. As CEO of Medical Intelligence Ops, he seamlessly blends medical expertise with business acumen. In Bethlehem, PA, during his emergency residency, Dr. Castro began authoring books for medical students, leading to his extensive bibliography of 19 books, including groundbreaking works on ChatGPT and healthcare in 2022. In Dallas-Fort Worth, Dr. Castro's career evolved with significant innovations. He developed the world's first IV Meds app, a major leap in medical technology. As a speaker for ACEP and other forums, he has been a guiding force in integrating AI in medicine. Dr. Castro's influence extends globally. He has been a keynote speaker at prestigious events worldwide, from China to Portugal to the USA, including prominent conferences like HIMSS. His insights on AI and healthcare have made him a sought-after consultant for hospitals around the world, helping them navigate the intersection of technology and patient care. He founded trusted medical centers, managing over 7 emergency rooms and a hospital, and his business ventures include staffing companies, a billing company, and a marketing company. In media, Dr. Castro is a familiar face with over 100 live TV appearances and roles as a medical correspondent on major shows. His book, Success Reinvention, and the e-course, AIDE, Artificial Intelligence Decoding and Child Exploring in Healthcare, reflect his passion for sharing knowledge and guiding others. Beyond his professional life, Dr. Castro is a dedicated family man and an avid learner, always seeking new knowledge in business and self-improvement. Follow Dr. Harvey Castro's inspiring journey on social media platforms. Experience the narrative of a visionary reshaping healthcare and inspiring future generations. In conclusion, Dr. Harvey Castro is not just a medical professional and author. He is a trailblazer in healthcare, a global speaker, a media personality, and a leader in medical innovation. His journey from a determined student to a key figure in medicine is a testament to his dedication, innovation, and enduring commitment to impacting healthcare globally.
All right, so I'm going to introduce our speaker, my business partner, and this would not be a cool AI show if I didn't use AI. So here's the AI intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce a visionary and a distinguished professional in the realm of technology and entrepreneurship, Mr. Brooks Wood. Brooks is a serial entrepreneur whose insightful vision is shaping the future of longevity. He is a Techstars alumnus from the class of 2021, a testament to his commitment to driving forward-thinking solutions. With over 22 years of rich experience, Brooks has become a master at developing and leading innovative solutions to complex business challenges. His expertise lies in effectively managing multi-stakeholder programs, involving a myriad of internal and external partners. At an executive level, he has demonstrated exceptional skills in technology management, defining roadmaps, resource planning, business analysis, and budget integration. These competencies underscore his role as the president and CEO of Help.ai, a position he has held since February 2021, contributing significantly to the technological landscape of Denver County, Colorado. In addition to his role at Help.ai, Brooks co-founded Forward Thinking in March 2012. Based in Littleton, Colorado, this venture stands as a testament to his enduring entrepreneurial spirit and his ability to foresee and act upon future business trends. His technical acumen extends to roles such as the Chief Technology Officer at Wave Therapeutics, Inc., where he served for 9 months starting September 2021. Brooks' skills are wide-ranging and impressive, encompassing Amazon Web Services, AWS, electrical engineering, printed circuit board design and manufacturing, mechanical engineering, and proficiency in CL1. Prior to these achievements, Brooks was the Chief Information Officer and Vice President of Sales at Beacon Communications, LLC in Denver, and a malware analyst at WebRoot Software Inc. His journey in the technological realm began as the Director of Operations at International Control Systems, where he laid the foundation for his illustrious career. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming a truly remarkable leader and innovator, Mr. Brooks Wood.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, Brooks. I'll give a quick intro myself. Basically, Brooks and I have been working together. And actually, what brought us together was a podcast. Ironically, he was interviewing me for a podcast actually about a year ago. It may be today, actually, a year ago. And we hit it off so good that I've never done this in my life. And he says the same. We hit it so well. And we both said, you know what, we need to do something together. And we formed this company. And March of this year, we started creating podcasts. And it was really fun using my Dr. Brain entrepreneur, and then Brooks has got equal talents to me. And so we kind of started geeking out to the point where our spouses were probably hating that we would talk, because we would just talk for hours about just business and life. So, having that chemistry with a business partner is key. And so I'm really excited to have him present kind of like how he did it before and how we do it now. And I won't take all the fun parts of the talk, so I'll give it to you, Brooks.
Well, geez, Harvey, thank you. And that your AI video at the beginning was pretty awesome. That was pretty ridiculous. So thanks for that. I have to log in on my laptop over here because my desktop's not working right. So I got to log in just to take just a second here.
Yeah, no, you keep you do that, and I'll take over here. So in the interest of time, I'm gonna give you a quick outline of what we're doing. We're gonna go over obviously podcast. That's why you're here, and how we could use AI. After we do that, we're gonna go into our GPTs, and I know a lot of people already have heard of them, but our GPTs, I'm gonna argue, is a little different from a lot different from what's by OpenAI. And then just the landscape for those people that have just, you may have stumbled across my profile and see it on LinkedIn Live and you're like, what is this? The goal is to really show you how we can leverage AI. AI, to me, all these books behind me have been helped by AI. And so I feel like I'm being more productive. I'm doing more information, giving better information, tailoring information. If you just go through my LinkedIn profile just of the last few days, you'll see all the things that I've been doing as of late. And I've been doing it for a year, but just kind of showing you how this technology has evolved. I can honestly say just being able to do all these things is literally taking us to another level. So I see Brooks is logged in, and let me know when you're ready. If not, I'll keep going.
I'll keep going. I'm almost there.
Yeah. And so obviously everybody knows AI hallucinates and there's issues. And so Brooks and I have done a really good job of figuring out how can we minimize hallucinations? How can we increase productivity? And I'm going to argue that when you see this product, look at it from the vertical of your expertise. So if you're a doctor, if you're a nurse, if you own a clinic, if you're a lawyer, depending on what you do, I really think this product that we're about to show you, and I even hate calling it a product, this way of doing things is differently. As an aside, when I would create podcasts prior to meeting Brooks, it took me personally forever because I've never done stuff like that. And just the preparation that's needed, just on the simple portion of having a conversation with someone, there's sometimes some errors or technical issues like we had last week. And it's so much unpredictability that sometimes you think it won't take you that long, but then when it's all said and done, it really can take you hours. We're going to focus today on our podcast, and those podcasts, I'm going to call them the short podcasts. Obviously, there's middle and long, but I'm going to argue that for most of us, and especially different generations, their attention span is less. The average commercial, when you do anything, it should be less than a minute. And so people that I've been interviewed for podcasts, they really try to keep those podcasts, some of them as less than 10 minutes, just because they want to be to the point. And so I'm excited about Brooks's presentation. I haven't seen it, and I know he's got some information to show you about the platform and how it works.
Absolutely. All right. So, being extremely busy like we are, we wanted to do a podcast together, but we knew it wasn't going to work out on a very consistent basis. So we talked about leveraging AI to do that. And that's what we've done. So I'll show my screen here. Here's a bunch of podcasts that we've created, but it's pretty straightforward. So it's this website that you go to, and I will refresh this page, and I'm going to dare try to do this live. We'll see, make sure, hopefully nothing breaks. First, I'm going to log in. All right. So what we'll want to do is we'll want to first create a new show when we first log in. And the name of this show is just going to be our AI in Healthcare series. And put Dr. Castro as the host. Put myself as secondary host. And then this is just, again, AI in Healthcare. Click on Create Show. It'll take just a second for that to create. All right, I think it's just about there. Go back to that again. Log in one more time. All right, so the show is now created. Our AI in Healthcare series show is created. And generally what I'll do is I'll now just try to find some like recent podcast maybe, or blog posts that Dr. Castro has created. I'll go to something older that I know is not quite there. Let's see. How about this? Visionary AI. So ChatGPT, charting the future of healthcare with visionary AI. So that's the name of the podcast that we'll create. So we'll go back here, created the show. Now we'll create a new episode. Drop that in here. Get rid of some of this extra stuff. All right, and then we'll put the title in here. And what this will do is it'll make a more succinct title. This one's fairly succinct, but sometimes the titles are somewhat long. This will take just a moment. This will take about 3 minutes to generate. What's happening now is it's taking that content from that blog post, and it's going to create a transcript, and it's going to be a conversation between Harvey and I. When I put the host, the first host and the second host, this particular site knows that when it sees Dr. Castro or it sees Brooks, to go grab the voices that we have pre-trained. And that's going to be a future upgrade to this to allow users that are using this to be able to clone their own voices and create their own podcasts. Again, this will take just another minute or so. But once it does that, again, it creates a transcript, and you'll see this of Harvey and I having this conversation that automatically creates a transcript that we can add for the podcast. And then that's where the audio file gets created once our voices are.
Now, you had mentioned that people that want to do this, obviously we don't want, for many reasons, for them to use our voices. So what voices are available for others?
So we have 2 default voices right now for 2 male, 2 female. And then we have 1 male, 1 female, both in a British accent. So both are an American accent. The first 2 are an American accent. The third are in a British accent.
Nice.
So that should, hopefully I didn't break it by going somewhere else.
And so traditionally when Brooks interviewed me about a year ago, it took a bit. He did a good job preparing for the conversation, and obviously he didn't give me any of the questions, but he did spend a lot of time preparing, creating, and then actually putting it out there on all the networks like Spotify and YouTube and whatnot. And so when he gave me, we were talking about doing these podcasts together, it was fun because he was like, dude, we can clone our voices and we can start creating pretty quickly. So I'll let him explain that part, because I love the text part already with the emojis there.
Absolutely. So Once it created that transcript, it then started creating an audio file. I had to refresh the page because I left. Dangers of doing this live. But then it also creates an image too, based on the context of the title. So it took the title, gave us an episode title, and now it's giving us a bunch of things. So it's giving us a quick little excerpt of what the actual, quick little summary of the podcast, a LinkedIn post, a nice long form blog post, and then the actual transcript. So you can see Harvey, you see Brooks, just goes back and forth this way. And then it creates this audio file. You may not be able to hear it.
Falls, prompt unnecessary and distressing treatments for the patient.
A little bit of echo
Yeah,
there.
I hear it.
Mute that again. So ultimately, within like 6 minutes, we can create a 6-minute podcast. We have some ads as well that play on the front and the back of the episode. And then we can just go to town with just different topics, and it allows us to stay up to date pretty quickly, as well as, if there's, I think last time, a couple of months ago, there was a topic that came out, and within an hour we pushed out a podcast about it because it was, it was an interesting, timely topic that we wanted to discuss.
Yeah, and I can personally say at the beginning when we were doing this, Brooks was like, "Hey, check every word, check every dot, every comma," and I was shocked that pretty early on it didn't have any issues, in my opinion. And the small issues that it did have, it was very minor that we were able to fix with prompt engineering. And so there's a lot of prompting going on in the background that you don't see. It's not as simple as we make it sound. There's been a lot of stuff, trial and error. And honestly, we've been doing this since March. So we were playing around with the different settings, the prompting, the different APIs for the different pictures. And all that means is that we were really working on this product. So I'm really excited that now we're able to share it, because I've had a lot of people ask me, "Hey, how are you guys doing this? I'd like to do something similar." And it was just really hard for us to kind of say, "Hey," because obviously I don't want anybody just using our voices. But now, with this advent of all this information that he's able to do, it's amazing. Now, Brooks, do you want to go over the editing portion, or did you already explain that about the transcript? And then if there's some portion that you personally don't want to put out there, or say you want to change a certain part?
Absolutely. So if you want to edit their transcript, all you'll need to do is go into the actual transcript itself at this point, at this stage, make your edits or changes, and then hit save at the bottom. And that'll regenerate the audio file, and you can listen to it again and see if you like that change. You could also look at the transcript right before you create the audio file as well, to see if you want to make some changes there also.
Cool. And so just as an aside, just some simple ideas of people that have asked me that they've wanted to use it. I had a med spa owner say that they just got a new laser, and they wanted to explain it to their constituents how the laser works and all the benefits from it. And so they're like, "Man, if I had this feature, I would love it, because now I can literally just make the podcast or use a blog, and then all the information is done." And so that was one interesting way that I hadn't even thought of for someone using. But so yeah, any small business owner. The other is I had some friends that are attorneys saying that they have a lot of information that they wanted to share with their people that they're working with, and they said it'd be nice to just put it on their website. So this would be another way that they'd be able to take a blog, take a principle. For example, like this morning, I had met with an international attorney, and he was going over all these different principles, and I was telling him, "Hey, some of the stuff, if you want, we could put it on your website." And he was really excited. So I know he's probably listening to this, and he's out in China right now. So go ahead, Brooks.
Well, I was just going to say that this has been really fun to make, and it works really well, surprisingly. We've only had access to these tools for less than a year, and they've already evolved 2 or 3 times since we started this project. And it continues to just blow me away on its level of candor and just its ability to create a conversational style conversation and allow people to listen to it. So, a couple of things that I mentioned that we'll be adding. So ability to clone your voice. Another thing downstream is that some video generation creation. We'll start with basic like digital avatar creations, and then some 3D 3D imaging and some animation and so forth, and make it a very nice dynamic tool that makes it not just audio, but also video as well.
Well, good. No, I can't wait. I'm really stoked. I mean, I was stoked with what you created. And now when you mentioned being able to do pictures and then video, I was like, wow, that's amazing. And this technology is moving so fast that it's hard to keep up with, even knowing it just a small part of AI in healthcare. I'm going to start showing some questions, and I'm going to ask people, start putting your questions. I know there's a delay on the feed from when we speak to when people are able to put questions, but go ahead and put questions. This is the first one right here, and it says, thank you for your event. Are you using LLM for your project? So I'll let you answer that one, bro.
Oh, we are. So we're leveraging the OpenAI GPT-4 API connection. It's the newest version that gives us like the largest amount of text. We can also move that over to a private model if we needed to as well, if there was some privacy that was needed there. But based on this being more of a public-facing podcast, we're not really overly concerned.
Yeah, good question. And so here's another question. Let me go ahead and show it. Hi, I do these things with multiple platforms. What have you created? So maybe if you want to kind of give a recap of what exactly you're doing, walk through, what's your elevator pitch, basically?
Absolutely. So we've created the ability to create short form podcasts within moments based on existing text. So if we have existing blog posts, or maybe we create our own conversation that we want to have, our GPT will, leveraging GPT-4, we will create a conversation, and then from there we'll create that conversation with AI-based audio creation to create a conversation. So essentially a podcast.
You know, Brooks, I was just thinking, I know I hate to call you out the last second. Do you mind sharing the screen and put the GPT Podcast website? Because I wanted to show all the podcasts that we were talking about from, I think I counted over 30 episodes since March. And just so that people can see the artwork that was done, all of that. I remember the specific episode. I know we did it a couple of times, but when Bill Gates came out and put a blog out with all this information about AI, we literally... How fast did we get it? I know we happened to see it come our feed, and then
I think that was the one that we got out within like an hour.
Yeah, and that was fun because sorry to cut you off, because people were telling us, man, how did you get this podcast out so fast? And it's exactly, this is what we did. I'm personally impressed with when I look at the podcast that he's about to share on the website. The artwork is only getting better. You know, when we started out, there was Midjourney, but now the upgrades. And then back then I was trying to help them out with using Dolly, and Dolly, the first editions that were out there were pretty ugly and sad. So we didn't. But then as you can start looking through the pictures, you can see that the pictures are getting better and better. And then the quality of the posts have been getting better and better. And it's gotten to the point where we've pretty much automated this thing to create the file, and then I'm able to post this on LinkedIn, and then we're able to put it on Spotify. So go ahead, walk us through the website. And then
okay, so the gptpodcast.com, and you can, if you just start here, you can see all of our podcasts. Last one we did was middle of December, but we've just been prepping for this software release, and then we'll start doing some more episodes shortly there pretty soon. The one series that I'm looking forward to starting is we want to start summarizing medical journal articles, and coming up some weekly summaries and some weekly news and so forth. But there's just a ton of episodes here. Every single one of these are fully AI generated. The images are created again automatically for us. When we do that, we have our audio file here with the actual, again, the blog post. And then if you go to Spotify, the GPT podcast is there as well. All the same episodes are there. Basically the same content. Let's see, where's the search?
I'm trying to think, what else did I want to say? Yeah, and then just having that transcript there, and being able to review it, and then and that was the other part. I was shocked that we were able to take certain journals and look at them, and it's obviously we're not giving back every single word. We're summarizing it, but it did such a good job of finding the key points of that study or key information. Our first 2 episodes had to do with entrepreneurship, because obviously Brooks and I are really big into entrepreneurship, but it was just fun to see, the different content that's out there and then really dissecting it down. But honestly, at the end of the day, ChatGPT did it. So that was pretty cool. But I'm in love with all these images and the pictures, and
this one was really interesting. So this was the Blue Zones, and we released that the same day that Netflix had released their series about people living really long, certain blue zones in the world, and that was a good conversation. And this image that we created with it was really cool. Midjourney had just upgraded at the time, and I mean it's just the hands and the fingers, except for maybe this hand might look a little weird, but outside of this, I mean it did a really good job of just recreating people.
Yeah, and then the other one that was fun, I say fun, but it's us geeking out, was when Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, had to meet with Congress. And that was another one that it happened. And literally, we were able to post it. I think he was still in Congress when when it happened. But just the fact to be able to do these kind of things and the image that he came up with, it looks so good. Especially, you got to remember, this was back when it was earlier edition of the Midjourney. Now, we got another good question here. And thank you, Dr. Dan Perez. She says, if we wanted to create a podcast show, but don't want to do it ourselves, is it possible to hire you guys to set this up and make it work? And the answer is yeah, for sure. I mean, this is why we created this model. So that way you can subscribe yourself, do it, you're all on your own. But obviously we're going to have tutorials and all that. And I'd be personally happy with Brooks to help you, Dr. Perez, and show you how to set this up and work it through, and then have you set up all your first couple podcasts for Spotify. And then I'm really stoked about the updates coming, because having the ability to do animations and pictures, I mean, that just starts changing things. So now you could post on YouTube and have a little animation going. All right, Brooke. So I'm going to let people ask questions. If you don't have any other questions, we can start pivoting to the next product. And I hate calling it product. It's just the next thing we've been working on. I'll transition, and if I don't see any questions, we'll keep moving in. Thank you. I see Perez saying thank you. No, thank you. So the next thing is this. Big picture, everybody's played with AI to some degree, but it's the whole unknown. What if I upload my data and ChatGPT gets it? Or what if I want to do things in my own environment and I can't? And so I started talking to Brooks, and Brooks created this, just think of it as a workstation, and it's basically artificial intelligence, and we call it our AI workstations. And what we did, and we did it in different subjects. I basically have all these books behind me. There's about 13 in total. And we took all those books and created different workstations. So one of them that we're going to talk about today is Sherlock Holmes. But other ones are like in health, longevity, AI, weight loss. But let's focus on the one that we're going to show you a quick demo. And that one is our Sherlock Holmes. And for Sherlock Holmes, we thought, wouldn't it be fun if you could talk to Sherlock Holmes? And so what we did is we got literally every work from Sherlock Holmes, all the literature that's out there. Obviously, this is public domain, so you could do this yourself. And then we took that information, put it into a workstation, and then literally we went to town. And when I say went to town, we just started making different workstations, because it was actually our first one, and started making different flavors, in the sense that one workstation would be Sherlock Holmes, but then you could use it for LinkedIn or social media. So then you would say, hey, give me some information from Sherlock Holmes. And then the other parts of this is my book. I don't know if I have it here, but oh yeah, here it is. My book on Sherlock Holmes solving cold cases. This was inspired by my wife. She's really big on crime stories. So she really inspired me to write a book on how can AI solve crime. And so I literally took that book, we put it into the workstation, and now you have access to the book, and then you have access to GPT, and then you can start asking questions, but you also have access to Sherlock Holmes. So I'll let you take from there, Brooks, if you wanted to show a picture or.
Sure. I'll just do a quick live demo of this. So ultimately we have, what I also found interesting as we were going through this was that there's not that many novels that were written actually. There's only a few novels, but there was a
Yeah.
ton of short stories. And so we have this short story collection. And you know, the first question I asked was, who is Watson? And the way that this worked is we took these books and we uploaded them so that a large language model can actually access these. This is still using GPT-4, but the cool thing is that we've set this up to where this can be extremely private. This could go into the four walls of a hospital and I'll hit the compliance, because we can put local models that run directly on a server to do this exact same thing. But these demos we're showing, we're using the OpenAI API, but just know that the way that we did this was to keep it all extremely private. So who is Watson? Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here. Dr. John H. Watson is a fictional character, the loyal friend, biographer, and chronicler of Detective Sherlock Holmes. So it will, it knows everything about Sherlock. And what was Watson's purpose? Dr. Watson's serves several key purposes in the Sherlock Holmes stories. He's the narrator. He's the audience surrogate. That's absolutely what he was. He's the chronicler. It's just really interesting to start getting teasing out this information. And the cool thing is when it does this, it will also show us exactly what information it pulled out of. So let's see, this one was, this is actually one of the books. And it just, it takes this information that we have stored and it comes up with what its interpretation is of what Watson's character is.
Yeah, and then I asked myself, hey, what can I just go to ChatGPT and do the same thing? And the answer, interesting enough, is no. When you ask ChatGPT, do you have the entire collection of Sherlock Holmes? It says no. Or you try to ask certain questions and it says we don't have that information. And so the difference here is, think of it as we have a database, which is Sherlock Holmes, and then we have ChatGPT with it, and then we can add anything else we want to it. In this particular case, I added one of my books to it, and then you can start asking questions. And then the creativity portion is the other part. You and I can ask the same question to ChatGPT and get different answers. And the reason it has to be that way is because there's something called prompt engineering, and just basically think of it as how you ask the question. And so in order to get the best prompts and the best information or the output, Brooks and I went through all the workstations and we've been working on the prompt engineering of the background that you don't have to do any of that. We're doing it for you. And so it's really being able to give you better output than if you just went to ChatGPT. Obviously, like anything, we're really stoked to have this product out, and it's only going to get better. But I wanted to show you, it's just a proof of concept. I mean, if we could do this with this database, imagine what we could do with another database. And so that's why I know I'm rambling a little bit. That's why we added William Shakespeare and Edgar Allan Poe and all these other people that are out there, because I thought, man, as a student, personally, I really sucked at William Shakespeare. I had no idea what half the time he was saying, and I always had to ask people or read about it, or back in the day, I had encyclopedias to help me through it. But now, how neat. I can really go through it and really interpret what that one line is saying. Go ahead, Brooks. What else did you have?
Well, so, in addition to the books, right, from the prompt engineering perspective, we also gave a persona. So the default workstation is actually just Sherlock. You can talk to Sherlock. He's kind of a jerk. He's somewhat terse. He doesn't have a lot of time for you, and he's extremely smart. And he's trying to solve cases. So if you waste his time, he'll let you know that. But so the first question I asked him is, can you give me a review of your books? And he goes, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, a collection of tales that showcase my various exploits in science and deduction. He goes on and on to really boast about himself there for a moment, but then he also, mentions other books that you might want to read. And I thought that was just a really interesting use case of this. And if you start talking to him, he will try to solve your question. And if you try to give him a tale to solve, he will. So you can start to create your own adventure, create your own Sherlock Holmes adventure, and that's what we're excited about. And I know earlier this week, Dr. Castro, you had a chance to be on Nancy Grace's podcast, and I know that she gave you a shout out. And
yeah, do you happen to have it to share? Or
I don't think I have the audio clip. Let's see if you can hear it.
Maybe you could put the picture then.
Let's see. Let me find that.
So basically, Nancy Grace, because I know my kids were like, "Who's that?" And so Nancy Grace is an attorney. She's really big on crime stories and podcasts. And at one point, she was on all the major networks, and I think she still does it on Fox News some. But she was really big back in the day. But she still is doing podcasts, and time to time, she'll call me to do medical correspondent of different cases. And so, I did the Gwyneth Paltrow case that she was in last year, and I did a couple of others. But I did another episode last week, and then another one this week. But the skinny is she's a big fan. And do you have the audio? If not, we can just read it.
I don't. It's not letting me show it for some reason. I don't have it saved as file format.
No worries. Here, let me pull it up real quick, and I will read it. She basically says, Dr. Harvey Castro, board-certified emergency physician, healthcare consultant with CEO of Medical Intelligent Ops, and creator of Text Sherlock Holmes, which I love because my son and I are obsessed with Sherlock Holmes, and I very often go to my mind palace with Sherlock Holmes. So it was a nice plug-in for Sherlock Holmes, and I know a lot of people really enjoy just kind of going through it. That next tab that I can see him displaying is basically Holmes plus AI investigating. So think of this. Imagine using the traditional deductive reasoning or the way Sherlock Holmes does an investigation, plus using AI book that I created. And I actually have 2 different AI crime books, and I put those 2 in there. And so now you can literally say you have a background as a detective, and you can say, hey, I went into a crime scene. What are some of the fundamental things that I should do? And it'll literally go through it. And
give me a prompt, Harvey, and give me a question, and I'll put it in.
What are some key things that I should do at a crime scene? And then just put comma. There are no digital cameras around and no eyewitnesses. And the reason I put that prompt is because sometimes it'll say, hey, use the cameras or, investigate. But then it literally puts you in the eyes of a detective and what needs to be done. And so the fun part here is it's going to be going through the book. Here we go, Sherlock Holmes. And here's going through the cases that the 2 books that I have. And let's see. That's all I can see. Oh, there it goes.
What did it say? I'll refresh it. It said something different.
Yeah, it could be the very first prompt. That's the other thing we did on the prompt engineering. When you first do it, it asks. It always kind of gives you the first response to kind of lay the lay of the land, and I bet that's what that was. But big picture, the fun part here is, how can you be interactive with your information? I personally think I would get so much more out of being able to talk to my textbooks as a medical student, or as a pre-med student, or as a high school student, just being able to have that ability to brainstorm and ask questions and hear it from a different angle. Some people are very visual, some people are auditory, and depending which way you go, I think you'll see the difference. And then in the interest of time, if what we'll start doing, I know on the GPT website, we have some videos, and if you go through, you can see all the different workstation and kind of scroll through what we have. So you can take a look at those features. Okay, there you go. Oh, I see it now.
Let me zoom out a little bit.
Yeah, you're good. So the bold things are the things it's saying. So you should have an initial assessment, secure the scene, document everything, preserve evidence, search for evidence. And then obviously he's explaining, and then take measurements, canvass the area, collect samples, maintain chain of custody, notify the right personnel. And then here's the fun part. Any of those points, you can go back and say, give me more information about chain of custody. What should I do? And then it'll respond. And then you see where it says show citations, it's literally going to show you where it got that information. So that way that black box is not so black box, like literally you're able to see it.
So, and I think the point is that because we're giving it this, because we're giving the large language model sort of guardrails of the information that we want it to be able to answer, it's not going to make things up. It's not going to have that hallucination effect. And I hate to say hallucination because I feel like that's all humans do is hallucinate. But at the end of the day, it's really, we want to make sure that we're giving it knowledge so that it's not trying to freestyle and, make things up.
Yeah. Well, I think, do you have anything else to say about this workstation, or?
Oh, that's it on this one, I think.
Yeah. So big picture, we got several of these, and as people start subscribing to these different workstation and giving us feedback, we'll be using it. I'm going to violate my own HIPAA and say I'm in a weight loss kick. And so I've uploaded my own weight loss books and information that's out there. And one of the ones that we created was a longevity and fitness. We've done workstations, and the whole point is for you not to replace a doctor or your healthcare professional, but to do the opposite. Be able to go in there, get information, and then turn around and say, "Hey, doc," or my nutritionist, "Hey, what do you think of this? This workstation is telling me to do X and Y," and it's suggesting, kind of like you going into Google and doing the research, is kind of bringing it all into one workstation. And the goal again is just to kind of help you educate yourself, but then use that information and see, as you do everything, is this correct? Not, is this helpful for me? I, for whatever reason, have a bum left shoulder. My brother has a bad shoulder. Seems like everybody in my family, my kids have a bad left shoulder. And so when I work out, I tend to do this number where my right hand is stronger than the left. So I literally put that into the workstation and say, hey, give me some workouts where my left shoulder is weak and I can help with that issue. And it's giving me modify workout plans for my left shoulder where I can still work out, but it's being modified. So I don't have anything else. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on social media or on our website. I encourage you to at least at a minimum sign up for our newsletter, because then you can see the different things that are rolling out. And then I'm anxious to work with Dr. Perez and any of you guys with these up and coming podcasts or workstations. So, Brooks, do you have anything else?
No, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
All right. Well, I'm going to end the podcast here. And again, thank you for everybody's time. And if you missed this morning's session on AI and legal, please come by and take a look at it. And I'm just going to start this quick video.